folks, man. This is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classics of Cinematics. And I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yeah, folks, man. Today we're going to be talking about another classic. This film is near and dear to me. I love this thing, man. And we're going to be talking about The Blood of Heroes from 1989, if I'm correct. 89! Like a public interview.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, this film is crazy. It is what I consider a sports-based film. And just give you the synopsis real quick. In the future where most of mankind and technology is wiped out, 6 people travel from place to place playing a brutal form of football with a dog skull. They hope one day to play in the league in a city. And essentially this game is about it's kind of a form of football in a way, you know, except this form of football, you know, it's kind of essentially the same rules, but just different methodologies. There's weaponry involved, you know. And what's interesting in this team that we meet early on in this film, one of their players is injured. So a person from this village that they're playing in actually, you know, volunteers to join their team.
Yeah. Well, you know, and for those, if you're looking up this movie on the internet, it also goes by the name The Salute of the Jugger, because this was a international film. It dropped in Australia first. So when I actually went on Wiki to get some info together, The Blood of Heroes doesn't come up. The Salute of the Jugger.
Salute the Jugger.
Yes, The Salute of the Jugger. But yeah, man, you know, when it comes to a sports movie, this one has everything that I look for as far as, you know, where it gives you, you know, a solid plot, its original concept, and you have a team to root for, players to root for, a team to root against, and a main objective within the team. And, you know, this one doesn't fall short on that. And what I really like about it is, you know, it really puts emphasis on this sport. Yes, it's crazy. We're going to get into how crazy this sport is when it's being played, but it's set in a post-apocalyptic world where there's not really much else to offer. You know what I'm saying? There are 2 brackets of individuals. There are the elite and the rest. And the only way for the rest of the individuals to kind of even get to sniff the plate of the elites is to become a league player in this sport called jugging. Whereas, you know, they get, you know, the finest clothes and the finest, you know, sexual preference. And they talk about silk like it's gold bars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
you get righteous accommodations. You get everything that would get like a gladiator would get, you know, the accolades, like you said, the women, the riches. You know,
and what's really cool about this team is because it's set in this post-apocalyptic world, we see them starting from the bottom up, and you know, what better in a sports movie is better than the underdog story. And this one has it's a multifaceted underdog story, as we're watching the team try to excel as a unit, but then we're also watching the players try to excel for the team.
Yeah, I think the human element of this is great because, you know, I would say our other main character, because Rutger Hauer is definitely the biggest star in this film at the time when it came out, but I think Joan Chen's Kata is really the character that we're seeing most of this through her point of view. But what I like, the character element, this guy, what's Rutger's guy's name? Salo. So Salo is actually a former player from the league. Like, he had experienced this, and I believe the story is he fell in love with a woman who might have been linked to one of the elite guys.
She was an elite, and as they were you know, gallivanting, since he was young, he was kind of putting it on Front Street, where that rubbed the elites the wrong way.
Yeah, he kind of flew too close to the sun, and they kicked him out the league. So essentially, just to support himself and to stay alive, he has this ragtag team, and he goes from, you know, settlement to settlement, and he fights their local team. I guess they're gambling on it and, you know, putting money on this stuff and, you know, going to the next town. But at the same time, he's also doing this to try to court the attention of the league for a chance to challenge them and get back into it, you know?
And
that's kind of interesting dynamics.
And it's cool because as the team captain, he's also putting his teammates in the position to have the confidence to know that they are good enough to compete and beat a league team. But for me, I know we glazed over Kidda, but man, she is awesome in every way, played by Joan Chen. She's the newest addition to the team and to the sport as a whole. As the first match we see, they're in her village, and she's looking for change. You know what I'm saying? She is not digging the lifestyle, the farming lifestyle that is presented in front of her, and she gets an opportunity, man. And dude, she has got a heart that is 3 times too big to fit in that small frame she's got. And she puts it on display. And as the film cruises through, you see the progression and the intensity, the aggression, and her passion for the sport. And dude, what I love most is that, like I said, she's chest out. Like her very first match, she sees that one of the other players, Dog Boy, has an injured leg. And she looks him in the face. She's like, "Yeah, how's your leg? I'm going to break your leg." You know what I mean? Like, she talking big shit. And I love it.
That's the interesting part, because she starts off, playing on the team of her local town against
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah, against his team. And like you said, by the end of the match, Dog Boy's hurt. So say they don't have a Quick, who's essentially, I would say he's like their running back. Or the scorer, maybe in rugby, the guy that takes off, and so they're down up there. They're like, he's gonna heal, but realistically, he's in bad shape, man. And it's crazy because the brutality of the sport, like, we don't get everything in the beginning, but you just look at these characters, man. Like the makeup, I think, and the costuming on here works so well. All their gear, it's just put together, it's manufactured, whatever we could find. Everyone's got scars. Even Kata, when we meet her, she's scarred up. Like so either that's indicative of her playing in the sport or just having a rough life that all these characters seem to have, man. I don't know what happened to this earth, but I love that. I love that we don't know.
We don't need to know.
Maybe there was a nuclear war that went off. Maybe there was World War III and the earth is messed up, but everyone looks like they're going through it, and I love that. The story is just, your brain fills it in.
and the way their uniforms look, just imagine during one of those crazy Mad Max races, everybody just pulls over to some remote spot in the desert, gets out the car, and plays a pickup game. That's what they look like, dog. And you're right. I mean, this film, it really puts on the front lines this brutal nature of this sport, and also that it's a testament of the times that they're living in. But ultimately, they have respect for the game, because at the end of every game, they always pick each other up, show love, do this kind of cool handshake. So even though during the X amount of time, they play by stones. So it's 3 rounds of 100 stones being thrown. It's about a second and a half for each stone. And after all is said and done, during those 300 stones, they're trying to rip your head off. They might bite your cheek off, break your leg, whatever. But after all is said and done, respect, and that's the true testament of a real sport.
I like how even with the stones, is because this earth is jacked up. Like, we don't even see no tech until they get to some of the towns, or when they finally go into the big city with the arena. Everything else is analog, man. So the stones is interesting because you just got a guy there throwing stones at this gong to keep time. And he's on a timer. And then I'm like, what if he wants to cheat? What if he's a little slower or a little faster? Which he's going to be, because he's a human. I bet if you put a real clock next to him, that time is going to be off. But basically, the matches are, as getting to that 100 stones. And by doing the stones, they can kind of keep track of, well, it took them 40 stones to win this match, or whatever,
And after all said and done, if nobody places the dog head on the spike at the end of 300 stones, it is a tie, which is also equally respectable due to the nature of how the game is played. But also, before we get all the way into the sport, man, I like young Gar, who's played by Vincent D'Onofrio, aka Vinny D. I mess the name up every time. That's why we call him Vinny D, so we can just keep it moving and not stutter over his name.
It looks like Arnold Frio.
There you go.
Or not Frio.
All right, there you go. And his middle name is Philip, because they tell us that in the casting of this movie. I can say that with no problem. But he also, we see in the very first game, the opening setting, he also seems like he's new to this team, because he's not really playing his position well. He seems timid, understandably so, but he's not he's not doing what needs to be done in his position, and nor is he taking accountability for it when he gets called out. But what really works for his character is,
feels like he's just going through the motions and taking up space.
But what really works for his character is because of the new addition of Kidda when she does replace Dog Boy, that like her drive, her passion, and her want to be great in this sport then pushes him to be better, because the way the game is played, their positions are kind of attached. So if she's given 120, you can't be out there half-assing. You have to push yourself to be better.
And at the same time, too, he's helping her to learn the game. And I think, like you said, it causes him to bring her under the wing. And it also, I think, it forces him to feel some kind of responsibility. It's like, all right,
Absolutely.
I got to protect her.
I got to protect her.
And we, we'll get into the intricacies of the sport, and you'll see what our protections are important. But we also got Delroy Lindo. Like this thing is stacked with people who are going to do great things. And he's one of the players. He's kind of the opposite of Vinny D's character, because Vinny D's character, he protects the runner in a way. So his thing is, he's got this thing that he swings. It's like a chain.
It's like a chain.
Basically,
he's almost like an O lineman. Like he's a blocker.
It's a chain. It's a chain with like 3 chains and ends. So he's protecting the runner.
Yes.
Well, Delroy Lindo's on the other side. He's kind of protecting the goal. He's keeping the other teams from coming in and scoring. And he carries. It looks like the gladiators thing. The sticks, like I forgot what they call it, but it looks like a big Q-tip.
A big Q-tip. Yes, exactly.
Like on the end, like it's a double-sided club.
Yes.
He's just and bow. So you try to come to their goal and put that dog skull down, you're gonna get rocked.
Yeah.
And it's cool, man, just to see. Like, you almost want to wish this was a real sport in a way, but I don't think there's a way you can do it safely.
I'm gonna blow your mind later. I'm gonna blow your mind later. I'm gonna blow your mind, dog. You're not gonna believe this info I'm about to drop.
The rest of the team, we got Anna Katarina. I think she's also another stick person next to Delroy.
She is.
And then we got...
you know who my man is Gandhi. Played by Gandhi McIntyre. He's like the coach, or like the sixth man, the fill-in.
He's like the manager in a way, because he's carrying the equipment too.
He's carrying the equipment, but dude, his sideline banter is great. He's a motivational speaker. He's kind of like your hype man if you're boxing. He's he addresses your wounds after the game.
It's funny in that first match. He's like, take everything from him.
Take him. He was like, show him who you are, dog boy. Show him where you're going. I mean, this dude
relax a little bit.
He's got one leg. You know what I mean? But I love his character, and then it's really cool, because we reach a point where, he becomes so much more than just a talker. He shows and proves, and he does it with a smile on his face, and it's beautiful to see it when it happens. That dude is dope. But yeah, man, so we're gonna dive into the sport is called jugging. And pretty much it's like Cord was saying, it's a mix between rugby and American gladiators in a sense. And, you get, with this movie, what makes it great and kind of how you can pick up what's going on is you get a lot of on-field action, which that is really, really cool. And it reminds us the whole time, for the 1 hour, 44 minutes of this film, that this sport is brutal. Mm-hmm. It is hard. It is a rough game to play. It is not for the weak at heart. It's just, it is going to push you to the max. But so the thing of it is that each team has what is called, that's 5 players. So you have a quick, who pretty much is the only person who can pick up and tote the dog skull, which would be the equivalent of a football. Then you have a slash, who's like the top enforcer. Like he is your main guy that's just wreaking havoc and knocking heads. You know what I'm saying? You're like I said, your enforcer. And then you have your back charge and your griffer, your drive and your back charge. And those two are the ones that protect the other goal, like Cord was saying. And the griffer is the guy who wields the chains, and he is the personal protector for the quick. And pretty much the objective is, in 3 periods, which is 100 stones for each period, one team has to put the dog skull on the opponent's stake in the ground after 3 periods, or 300 stones. If nobody does that, the end result is a tie. What happens within those 300 stones is pretty much all of the damage, wreckage, carnage that we see in this film.
Yeah, but that's the crazy part, because the weapons that the enforcers and other characters, they can wield them, and you can get rocked, and you can get really brutally maimed. Like you can have life threatening and just crippling injuries. Dude.
Rutger Hauer gets his eyeball smacked out.
Yeah, we meet him. He's got an eye missing. So who knows? Maybe the chain got his face. We see later when I think Delroy gets it in with the slash with the chain across his face.
Yes.
Trying to going against the stop the other teams quick. Like,
Kidda bit someone's ear off to get the dog.
Yeah.
And it's wild because the Quicks, they are the only ones, since they are the only ones that can touch, carry, and place the dog skull. Everyone else, you're pretty much, regardless of position, is just to beat and maim your opponent while protecting your Quick. But the craziest thing, dog, this movie came out in 1989. In 1993, a group of Germans adapted this sport, and it is still being played to this day. You can go on to Wikipedia and put in jugging, and they will give you a long list of all of the countries that play. Look, jugger.
They still playing to this day?
Yes, jugger as a sport is gaining popularity in Germany, especially with university and college teams with its own league. There are now teams in Australia, New Zealand, Austria, Ireland, England,
Are they
Poland,
doing the
Czech
same
Republic,
thing? Like,
Denmark, Spain,
can
Sweden,
you bite
Colombia.
people? And I don't think it's this. It can't be this. There's no way this could be.
The
this
rules
brutal.
are dumbed down from what I got.
I don't think you could be this savage.
The rules still apply as far as how the game is played, but when it comes to the weaponry, they use the equivalent of like what people would use if they go, like those that do those
like
cosplay.
I can't imagine you you being able to swing a chain and
no, it's like a foam. It's all foam stuff. And the thing is like if you get hit, then you're down for X amount of seconds. There are referees.
Like can the joggers like attack each other, like go to the body and uppercut?
I don't know about all that.
That's what I'm saying. It's not real.
It's definitely not. It's not post-apocalyptic jugging, but it is a modern day form of jugging, which is just insane to me that somebody actually watched this movie and was like, "Hey, I have an idea." They must have been drunk.
That's why they took that scene out of the program. Folks is crazy.
Exactly.
But it is like I think the wildness of this thing though gives it its heart and personality and charm.
Does.
Like crazily, we were talking earlier, the Rotten Tomato was 20% on critics. One of the first things I saw was there's not much background and explanation. I'm like, bro, do you need everything spelled out for you? I loved it. I don't know what happened to this Earth. Like it's almost like Cyborg.
Yes.
Like I think Cyborg might have been nukes, but really, what fully happened? Like this feels like it's happening in the cyborg world.
Yes.
Like this era of cinema, I loved it. There were some really good films that came out with this look and feel like they were from. This looks like a piece of Mad Max.
Yes.
This is one of them towns Mad Max drives by.
Yes.
There's probably jugging going on. That's what makes this so cool to me. Like,
yes. And awesome. And the thing is that, the meat and potatoes of this story lies within the sport, and we get so much sport in this movie, and we see in the various different atmospheres and elements that is being played. We're seeing in the different cities, we're seeing them playing in the desert, in the rain, in the dark, all the way. It almost kind of plays like a quest film in a sense, because this team is continuously going from city to city, constantly moving north with the ultimate goal of reaching the league,
I love it, man.
making the challenge and getting noticed, so to get their recognition.
And as they're doing that, we're learning more about the game. We're learning a little bit more about this world, even though we don't get the full picture. We're even learning more about the league as people are talking about Rutger Hauer's character, recognizing him. It's like, he was the league, and it's so cool. And then even the story when they're just chatting, it's like, he's like, man, he had it all. Money, he gave it up for a woman.
All that
and then
silk.
My man is like, he was young. And I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. But it's giving you everything you need to keep you interested and keep it going.
Yes.
It's cool, man. I love this movie, dude. Like, it's simplicity at its finest, and it's more than what's just on the surface to me, man.
It is.
You get something to root for, and by the time he gets to the finale, he does get the attention of the league and gets to make a challenge, and this challenge is pretty much a qualifier. Like, you win this challenge, then technically your team can play in the league against one of the teams in the league.
Yeah.
And You know, and that's kind of the finale in this film, dude. It's their challenge match, and it's interesting because, you know, what the guy said. Most people don't go to the challenges because they just get their ass
get whomped.
So
and then
people don't even come.
Even
you know?
when Rutger Hauer, they say that when he got noticed, him and one other teammate in a challenge game made it to 26 stones. Okay, and he was like, no one's ever made it that far. So I mean, this is the equivalent, like challenging a league team as a novice team is like the equivalent of getting your neighborhood together, creating a football team, and then going and challenging an NFL
we about
team.
To go play the Wizards, bro.
Yeah,
we got three of our guys. About to go play the Wizards right now.
Exactly. That's what they're doing, and you know, and it is so cool to see it. I mean, it is climactic for what it is because, you know, like you said, they take just enough time to give us just enough character development. We know we don't need to know everything about the past or what's going on or what happened to the world, what happened to the characters before. We know what's happening to them now and how they all just want to be in a better position in life, and where they're at, the only way to get that is to get the attention of the league and beat the snot out of the team that they play. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what more can you ask for as a sport team? And what really holds this movie together is this atmospheric tone. It took place, or it was actually recorded in some place called Cobber Petty, which is in Australia. And you know, there was a lot of locals. The production team said that there was like 150 locals that like played as fill-ins all throughout this film, and that they were some of the best people to have to help make this movie great. But I mean, just, you know, I don't know what this place looks like in real life, but how it translated on screen to give us this post-apocalyptic world and all of these various forms for different degrees of this game to be played was just amazing.
The landscape looks like it's bombed out and depleted.
Yeah, and then also, like, you know, when you can see, you know, because like those games, it's like they're more gritty, they're more raw. You're like, oh man, it's like playing football in the street. But then when they make it to the league, you know, it's almost like a Coliseum flow. You know what I'm saying? Even though you can tell, because it's a challenge game, they're not giving all of the glamour and glitz to it. But what I do like also,
it's bare minimum. But but then there's that moment when that match where they normally, I guess other challenges are normally wiped out earlier, and they hit that 60-second mark, and then the runner is like, "What? They still out here?"
Yes,
and then the
little dude's like, "Yo!"
Then the people start coming.
Yes,
and
they're still jugging
as they fill up the stadium. It starts to get a little brighter. Like the lights start coming on. You start to see more, and it's just like it's cool, man. It's a cool moment.
You know, and also I think, I mean, metaphorically, you know, sometimes I look at things just to see if there was a deeper meaning, and I think that yes, they did start to turn the lights up, but also it was giving all of the people that were in that position, giving them hope. Yeah, and thinking like, hey man, if they can do it, we can do it too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or giving them a team that's relatable that they can root for. You know what I mean? And that's awesome.
Because they're just us. They're not of the elite. They're like, and there's that one scene too where Rutger gets in there and he sees one of his old teammates, and that guy's kind of, he's like, "You're old, bro." We're like, "Bro, we the same age. Like, what the fuck you talking about?
You only got one eye, and the guy's got a big steel plate. It's like, I mean, half your brain is missing." So, but you know, and I like that too because it also shows how the higher you go up in the more professional your sport comes, there's more of a political influence.
Start believing the bullshit.
Well, there's more of a political influence as well, because like the guy who apparently was still butthurt at Rutger Hauer actually tells this elite league player, like, "Yo, I want you to maim him, hurt him on purpose, hit out his other eyeball, break his legs."
A grudge, like, and that's the thing too, because I think Rutger wanted this challenge, but he also didn't want them to know that it was him. That he didn't want them to know that this was his team. You know, and you know what happens. You know, during the check-in process, they recognize him, and that's what I think actually gives his team that challenge, because they know it's him and it's people that he brought in. So it's their chance. It's their chance to punish him a little bit more. Yeah. We already kicked you out. Now we want to spit on you while you're on the ground. Yes. You know, so and that's another chance for them to hurt him again. You know.
But you know, the cool thing is too is that Rutger wasn't doing this for himself. He didn't want to get back into the league. He wanted his young players to get noticed. He knew he had that his young players in Kidda and in Gar, they had potential and that they could get a better life, you know what I'm saying, if just given the right opportunity.
Yeah, so,
you know what I mean?
So when a man goes down and he steps in, it's still his attempt to get them their spot. You know, it's like, yeah, like I am kind of getting to face the guys that did me dirty, but also if I don't sub in, then their shot is over. I'm trying to still give them a chance to, you know.
And it's cool because when he get in, he beat the snot out the dude that was supposed to beat him up. He beats the brakes off him with that big Q-tip. I mean, he hits him every which way you can hit somebody with one of them things.
It works, man. This joint is great, man. I wish more people would see it. You know, I feel like more people who dig deeper in the film, they have definitely seen it, man, and that's cool. And this is one too. If you haven't, check it out. It's free too right now. I think
it's on Plex.
You download the Plex app and you go to their free offerings. It's on there as well as Roku has it. So if you got a Roku player, you can find it through there. The stuff that they're offering, and Fandango at home, they have an app as well. And they have free offerings, so you can watch it through there. So there's a lot of free options, free ways to buy this. I don't think you could buy it digitally, but there are DVDs out there. Sadly enough, this transfer is kind of crap. We were talking about it earlier. I know either Shop Factory, Screen Factory, one of them put out a Blu-ray version of this. I don't know if they took the time to rescan it, but honestly, it looks like it's going to be hard to fix it up. It's just the state that it's in, that's just how you're going to have to see it. But it's good enough of a film. I think it holds up. And honestly,
it kind of adds to the grit and rawness of the film.
Yeah, gritty. It looks like something that someone dug up in the desert and it's like, yo, we found a box of old dirty films from what is this? And it's something good, man. It's great, man. It's
absolutely. I totally agree with you. And you know, even though this film was hard to find, like Cord was one who put me onto this a few years back. He mentioned it. He's like, you ain't never seen this? I was like, nah. Watched it. I've been in love with it ever since. It has a high rewatchability rate. It is fun every time you watch it, even though you know what the outcome is after your first viewing. It does not depreciate the value of this film at all in any way. I definitely think that this is one of the more underrated sports films that deserves a spot on a top 10 list of almost any sports movie made.
Yeah, man, really great, man. Especially if you're a sports fan. Like I said, it doesn't just. It encompasses all the great things of sport, and I think the human story in this is great too, man.
Absolutely.
So definitely check this out, track it down, man. And this cast is great, man. It's stacked, bro. Like a lot of people who are going to be legendary early in their careers, but I think Rutger was already ruling straight to video in this era. He was killing it. But Joan Chen, Delroy Lindo, it's awesome, man. You know.
Yes, man. Only suggestion.
And Vinny D'Onofrio.
Yeah, man. Only suggestion I would make is after you watch it, don't try and go really jugging. You know?
I might have to look up some real jugging matches on YouTube now that I know that people is out here doing it, man. Yeah, but jugging means something totally different in the streets these days.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's get out of here, man. This has been another episode of Classes of Cinematics. You can check us out at Classes of Cinematics on Instagram. You can check me out at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. And check out the merch on this little barcode if you want to support us and order a shirt. Anything, a hoodie, sweater. We got stickers even if you can only support us a little bit, you know?
A little bit helps a lot. And this is Bobby Blockbuster. As always, you can catch me on the next show.
All right, folks. Peace.